Hi everyone, welcome to this another SkillSpark session today. I'm Esther, by the way, and I usually work with product and marketing as well. So today we are diving into automations, which is going to be our topic. We also have Sinead here who's going to watch the chat. So if you have any questions regarding automations, you can write them there anytime and we'll circle back to them. And I just start talking about it. So skill sparks are basically short learning sessions that help you understand and maybe give you a little bit of ideas on how to use some of the features that are available for you. So there's an echo. Can you hear me well?
I just shut off my sound, see if this helps.
Yeah, let me know if you can still hear an echo. If so, I'll try to change something. Maybe I need to close my window. But okay. And so, yeah, this is another SkillSpark session where we're going to talk about automations. This is a feature within your software that can connect multiple features as well and help you create kind of like a workflow that connects you and your client based on their behavior on your site or within your business. So we're going to dive into it a little bit more in detail because I think, let me just move myself, because I think a lot of times we are a bit scared about what these automations can do and the different parts of it. So your automation is basically a workflow, as I mentioned, that can run without you needing to do anything once you set it up. So it can basically work in the background, do the things that you would manually need to do, but you don't have to keep an eye on it, basically. Yes, this will be recorded as well. I just saw the question pop up. And triggers are basically actions that your clients are doing that can start this automation. So it's kind of the starting point, something that kicks off these different sequences, different paths, depending on their conditions. So conditions are connected to more like only if or what if they have a certain criteria. We'll talk about this a little bit more as well, but this can really help you pinpoint specific clients that you'd like to have within these automations instead of having maybe a big audience or different activities or things that they do that you want to really limit to a set group. And then your events are more, I guess, actions or jump points within your automations where clients do something or something happens. And because of that, they might end up in a different part of the automation. So instead of going through a sequence, they've already done an action. So it will recognize the action and jump there within the automations. It might sound a little bit all over the place right now, but as we are going to build an automation together, you'll see what I mean, and I'll talk about this a little bit more as well, but just a little short summary of what these different things are and how you can think about them. And I also would love to hear any questions that you have regarding automations. I also asked this question yesterday in the Facebook group, and I did see that someone talked about AI. Automations are not AI, so it's basically just a system that you set up yourself to do a few actions on behalf of you or your business based on what your clients are doing or how they are behaving within your site. So maybe if you have any questions about automations, which one you should build or how it could help your business, anything that comes to your mind, please write that into the chat. And then now I'm going to jump into the actual automation and how to set it up. So today we are actually going to use another part of the software, which is your custom fields. You might use this for different things. In this example, we're going to build an automation connected to an intro offer where you want to showcase the badge of where they are within that intro offer. So for this one, to start, you would create your custom field. So I just called it intro offer status, and it's choosing the type to be a number because we are going to use a specific thing within an automation called custom field math. And we don't need to ask this at the checkout. This is more of like an internal data that we want to keep for our staff members, for our admin, and it's not required because again, it's not asked at the checkout, but we want to have it displayed at a certain um, period. So basically the days that they are within the intro offer. In this example, this is a 2-week intro offer. So we want to see which day they are on for this intro offer. So I only want to see this badge if they are anywhere between day 1 and day 14. And this is how you can do this. You can add a color and you can name it whatever you want as well. So this is kind of like a pre-step before we can build this automation. Okay, so for your automation, I've already created this, but I want to show you how quickly you can do this. So I'm going to start from scratch. When you click on Create Automation, you actually have a few pre-built templates, and I really encourage you all to look at these. You don't have to turn them on when you're editing them until you're basically ready for them to go live. And this will also help you to kind of self-learn, notice how the different conditions, different events, different actions are happening in these automations and what they try to achieve, what their purpose is. So there's lots of different ones. I highly recommend maybe starting with the milestone visit one because again, it's a simple one that you can easily understand why this is happening, where you want to, congratulate your clients for achieving a certain amount of sessions or attending a few sessions, etc. So I'm going to start with a blank automation. And right away, you can give it a title and you have the option to run it either one per contact, multiple times, but only if that whole sequence has been completed, or multiple times. It doesn't matter if it's, they already started it 2 weeks ago and they're still in it, but they can start again today. So it's up to you which one works best for that specific automation that you are creating. And it also shows you who's in this automation and how many have completed. And again, if you don't want it to be active because you're still working on it, you don't have to take this box. You can build it. And then once you're ready, you can make it active and save it. Are there any questions so far? Okay.
Nothing
No.
so
All right.
far.
All right, so we're adding a trigger. This is going to be the starting point for this automation, which basically checks if something happens in your client's life. So they register for an event, they purchase a package or a membership. Maybe you add a tag or you remove a tag from their account. Maybe they have a custom field change. So in this one, we're looking for they're purchasing a package, which is actually the intro offer package. So if you have one called intro offer, it's really easy to find it, but you can have different names for it. You just find that specific package that you think of your intro offer, and then you add this as the starting point. So this is going to kick off. Someone buys an intro offer or intro package, then they will start in this automation or end up in this automation. Okay, then I also want to check if they started using this package because we understand that packages sometimes have the option to start expiring from the day of purchase or the day that they start using it. So, and by using it, especially with package, I mean the first session that they completed. So, for example, I could sign up to a class on Friday today, but it won't start expiring from Friday on when I went to the actual class. So what I'm going to go for is look for a condition, and I believe it is a advanced filter. I have to just remember what I did. And then I think I'm going to look for that package status. Sometimes I just look. Yeah. So intro offer status. So we're trying to see if this package is being used. We are going to look for the next 14 days. So the next 14 days, next 2 weeks. So it is, sometimes this part is where I find myself a little bit thinking because it's a little bit of a math. So I'm looking for the next 14 days and it has to be expiring before those next. So it is less than or equal to 14. I think that's the right way to do it. And then we're going to say, okay. Now, this will obviously check if this is true. We are checking, okay, is this expiring in the next 14 days or less? If yes, then we're going to start this path. If not, then we're going to add another step, maybe waiting or encouraging them by sending them an email to start using their intro package, whatever it may be. And then we're going to add another step, and this one will check our custom field. So remember, we created a custom field. This is to check if they are actually starting to use a package, so then we can start adding those numbers into it. So we're going to check that the custom field is set to a specific, oh, I can't speak, specific value. So the intro offer status we're looking for, and we want to make sure that it is, I have to just double check. I think I am not 100% sure I've done actually the right thing here. Let me just, sorry. I sometimes get flustered with the automations because they can be a little bit tricky. So let me just double check myself. In the meantime, because I don't want to lead you astray.
Take your time. I'll do some
Okay.
singing.
Yeah. Okay, because I remember I actually made a mistake. So, okay, I made a mistake here. So we're not actually wanting an advanced filter. We're actually wanting to wait for a condition. We're wanting to wait for the time when they start using the package. So we're going to wait for a condition, and it's basically the same thing where you have the status is less than or greater to 14. I believe that's the right one. And then we're going to say okay. Okay. And then after this, we are going to add an advanced filter. So the same thing, we want to check that the custom field is less than or greater than 14. I think I am doing this right. Sorry, I just got a little bit worried about it. But so it will basically again check that you are creating an automation and you are still looking at the data point that you are creating in your custom field. And this will allow you to really see the different actions that your clients are doing and also what's happening in your own dashboard. So once we've done this, we want to actually increase this data point. So the data field is we're checking which day they are in, day 5, day 7, day 12. So in order to make the system count this for you, you can do a custom field math. So that's an action. This is something that's not necessarily happening with your client, but more so happening in the system, understanding what is connected to your client. So we are going to find that custom field math, and we're choosing that intro offer status, and then we're going to increment it by 1. So we're going to add day 1. They started using it, so we are looking at that that's incremented by 1. It's going to display now also on next to that client's name saying that they're on day 1 of their intro offer status. Then we're going to add another delay because we want to wait another day for it to again add that step. So we're going to add a delay. It's a fixed one, and we're going to look for 1 day. And then we are just basically waiting for a full 24-hour to get to go again. Then you can actually add a extra step to, you could think, okay, I'm going to do this 14 times, but you don't really want to just do add a delay, add an incremented by 1, add a delay, add an, it's just too much work. So what you could actually do is jump to a step. So we're going to use jump to step. We're going to select that step, which is increment by day 1 or by 1. So you see how it will basically go back and do this same thing for you. Now, the only problem with this, if we stop it here or we do this, that actually it's never going to check if it's maybe day 15 and we don't really want to keep adding the numbers. It doesn't really matter at day 15 if they finish the intro offer because the intro offer is only 14 days. So instead of jumping here, we could actually jump it back to here. So I'm going to change this and select the condition that checks if they are under 14 days or they are over 14 days. And if so, if they are completed, they have completed that 14, they're actually going to go down this path and they're going to be out of that intro offer sequence. But I also want to add an extra number to it because I made the custom field show up the badge if it's between 1 to 14. So I want to make sure that it's not going to show it up. So just to be safe, I'm going to again increment it. So I do that custom field math to the intro offer incremented by 1. So this means that you are adding that 15. And once this happens, once your client ends up in this route, this basically means that they will be exiting and they will have the 15 into that custom field data point, and then it will disappear from next to their name. So no more badge because you understand they completed their intro offer. And you can save this. And then once you feel like, okay, I'm happy with this, you can activate it. And you can also choose if it's only one per contact or maybe multiple times. With an intro offer, usually have one client use an intro offer once in their life, and then after that, they use other packages. But this is basically how you build it. And in the meantime, you can actually add extra steps. This is just a really simple one I wanted to show you all because it's quick, but it also uses different parts of your software that can connect different things for you that helps you and your team and your clients as well. But for example, let's say you wanted to send an email to your client after they completed that 14-day intro offer to say, congratulations, well done completing the 14-day intro offer. You could add a step here and you could say, I want to send an email. And you can compose that email, you can design it as you want, you can add a subject line, you can CC or BCC in yourself or your admin staff members to see that they have completed, they went through this automation and they got this email. Or you can also change that it's not going to be sent to your client who's in this automation, but you change it to maybe your admin person because you don't need to, you have a separate automation or a separate way of telling your clients that they completed this automation or this intro offer, but you want to tell your staff members that, okay, they've done this. Now there's a different action that you're requiring from your staff members to do in order to do that. So there are different ways you can use your automations. They could be for internal use for just your staff members, your business, or they could be external or mix and match. You can always send one email to your client as well as send one to your staff members. Okay, let me see if there are any questions now. Sorry, I got a
A-
little flustered there. And I'm
Anya
still
has just asked, can automations be simple for marketing and advanced workshop?
sorry, say that
Can,
again. Can
can
automations be simple?
automations be simple for marketing and advanced workshop? Oh, do you want to do, you wanted to see an advanced workshop on it, Anya, as well, that we could dig a little deeper?
Maybe. Well, if it's just if you have
Yeah.
okay, so you're interested in having a deeper dive into automations because the thing is, it's super powerful. You can have multiple paths and they can relate to different things. So, obviously, when you start adding different filters or conditions, you learn to understand that one type of person might be acting one way, the other type of person might be acting a different way, and you want to build an automation that caters to both. So, one example, if you have your intro offer, someone purchases it, and then you notice someone right away jumps in, starts using it, books in as many classes as they can. Another person might be waiting and not really acting on it. And you understand that there's two type of people that could exist within the same automation, and you want to cater it to both. Another example I like to use in my studio is that I had my welcome sequence. So basically, sorry, basically a new subscriber welcome sequence where someone signed up to my newsletter or had their very first session with me. I would obviously want them to receive my sequence of emails to nurture them, to welcome them, etc. But then I would also run some specials, some maybe sales or a program during the holidays or summer, etc. And I would have some new people signing up to my newsletter, but I don't necessarily wanted them to start with the usual everyday kind of basic newsletter sign up. I wanted to thank them for signing up to this special offer first. So you can also add a condition to check if they have a specific tag that I tag them with, for example, summer holiday sessions. And if so, first they got a different email on a different path before they jumped back into the other path of this automation that is just the basic, usual welcome to my newsletter path, if that makes sense. So, and a lot of times you can keep this in there. You can also remove steps if they are not really useful anymore for you, or maybe you change them up as well. The only thing to note when you are deleting a step here, for example, it will ask you which path to keep. So if I wanted to delete this, it will want me to see if the true path or the false path is the one that I want to keep. So anything else that I'm not keeping will be lost or it will disappear, but you're going to keep that other path as well. So maybe different ways to do that as well. Okay.
And you're saying that's helpful. Yeah,
Thank
you can
you.
work it out for your workshop. So one way that I use it for workshops, Anya, I run a core and pelvic floor workshop, so I don't have a studio. I teach out of a local community center, and when I get clients registered for that through my website, they get a tag to be dropped into this automation that they can only run through once. And it sends out because it's a pelvic floor workshop, it sends out information on certain stages throughout certain stages of the 8-week course to them. That's like, oh, here's how you think about this and exercise you could do with that that links to the classes. I don't even need to think about that. I set that a year ago. It just ticks away, gives them all this extra information throughout the 8-week course, and then they never get that again. They only run through it once. So it's really, really handy.
Yes, exactly. I also saw a question about seeing why clients might be in an automation that they're not supposed to be in. Obviously, sometimes there are some glitches, but I would also highly recommend checking if you're looking for all the different conditions, all the different what ifs of your clients that you're trying to either include or disclude from that automation. And it happened to me before. I built an automation and then we were running it and realized I forgot to basically make sure that one condition that I'm looking for is true for that person and not false. And if it's true, they obviously go through the right path. If it's false, they might end up in a path that is not actually working for them. So, for example, I had built an automation before for late cancellations, and this client had different options for different type of offerings. So maybe a group class had a different kind of cancellation policy compared to a workshop. A workshop might have a longer time, so maybe not 24 hours, but they really want to know numbers at least a week before. So if someone cancels a week before this event, they might lose their deposit or their payment, or they might only get partial refund. So it was a different setup. So what we had to do is we actually use the offering type as to see, or sometimes the title of the offering to see if they are true. Are they canceling out from just an everyday weekly event, or are they canceling out from something more specific? Because they can all enter into the same automation by having the trigger that they cancel a registration. But we want to make sure that we're not sending them the email that's not valid for them because they are canceling out from a different kind of offering. So sometimes it is those tiny little things that you have to think about, that is this true for this client? Is this not true for this client? And then build your automation around that as well. Because sometimes it's not the worst thing if someone enters an automation, but it's more about what are they going to go through once they are within that automation. So you can cater to both. Are they supposed to be here? Are they not supposed to be here? And then you build your automation according to that. Hope that helps. Okay. So I highly recommend, I actually do a lot of automations. And as you can see, even now, sometimes I get a little confused by the wording of it all because It's a little bit kind of like maths, or thinking of it maybe more from a website developer mindset rather than like an everyday mindset. Because I would phrase things like, have they started using their package? But the system thinks of it, when is the expiry? Is it within this period or is it after that period? And that can obviously make you feel like this is not how I'm thinking about things or how I say things. So sometimes you have to kind of translate these different conditions. So one of them, for example, if I would change this, I think if I want to wait for a condition and I'm saying that, let me just find if I want to actually change the expiry. Um, so the package expiration date, maybe this is actually what I should have used. So this is where I sometimes get a little bit of a headache when I'm like, is equal to, not equal to, is after, is on or after, is before, is on or before, because we don't think about it this way. But okay, if you have a 14-day package, you probably, if someone starts using it, it will expire in the next 14 days. So I will want to look that the expiration is either on the 14th day or before, because they've already started using it. So this is how sometimes you have to think about it. And then you can use a specific date, or we're going to go relative, which again kind of throws a curveball in there. It's not in the past 14 days, it's in the next 2 weeks. And you don't have to worry about that one. It's usually for birthdays. But that's, for example, a little bit of a tricky way to think about automations. And this is why I would suggest just spend a little time in some of the pre-built templates and see why or how those conditions were built in order for you to understand, okay, why is this asking it this way? And then now I just change this condition, everything else can stay here. And you notice how it also opened previously a path here, and I can add another thing here. So this is checking if they started using their package. If not, I can build a whole new sequence of emails here. And if, let's say, I want to add an event, which we haven't talked about, that they actually started using that package, you can add that. And then maybe after that, add a jump to one of these steps. So you know that it starts calculating the numbers that they are within that intro offer. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, we are getting close to time. If there are any other questions, obviously you can reach out. We'll have everything ready by tomorrow, the same day. You'll get the replay and some of the extra information regarding automations as well. We are also working or workshopping the next SkillSpark theme, which is segments, which I highly think is connected to automations as well and is really powerful when you are trying to group your clients basically based on their behavior, like what they do on your side. Do they have packages? Do they have memberships? Are they interested in X, Y, Z type of sessions or the other type of sessions? Maybe age brackets. Are they under a certain age, over a certain age? You can group them in so many different ways and then build specific automations where the trigger is that segment. So you can actually see that the contact exits or enters a customer segment could be your trigger. And you don't have to check this because the system will check it for you. Okay, I think that's it for today. But again, if you are needing any help, you can always reach out to us. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you enjoy the automations and build them for yourself the way that supports your business the most.
Thank you, Esther. This was cool. It's such a big topic and such a powerful feature as well. Thanks for digging into it.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, everyone.